Howdy gamers, Lazerblade here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a brand new tutorial on Planet Explorers. Today we're going to go over build mode. Now, I've always wanted to have a house overlooking a beach. There's a nice beach down there, plenty of water. I already took the liberty of exploring a little bit of this map to find a nice spot, and this is the spot that I chose. Now there's a couple of flatter spots down there by the beach, but I thought that I would take the initiative and go ahead and carve out a small area here in the side of this rather shallow cliff face here. Now, as I was digging, I kind of dug into the dirt a little bit here, and the rest of the little triangle that I have cut out here is pretty much straight. I did dig out the corner here a little bit to prevent any overhangs, but I'm going to show you guys how to build and how to utilize the tools that Planet Explorers gives you. So let's get started. So this is build mode, and when you first open build mode, it's going to have a list of a variety of shortcuts and key combinations that you can use to build. We're not going to need that because I'm going to show you guys how to do what needs to be done. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm in voxel mode. I believe when you first come in here, you'll be in block mode and you'll have basically dirt selected, but we want to go into voxel mode, and we're going to select dirt, and we're going to pick a texture. I like that one, and we are in voxel mode, so we're going to fill in this little gouge I left here. So let's go ahead and do that first. You just place your selection box where you want to place a voxel, and you left click, and boom, it puts the voxels in where you need them to be, and we now have a nice straight edge here right back to the corner, which is perfect. It's absolutely beautiful. So now we're going to switch back to block mode, and for our foundation, I think I want to do stone, because I like stone and it makes a good foundation. So we're going to go ahead and select that, and we're going to come all the way back into this corner and maybe move out a little bit so we're not right up against the dirt. And actually we want to go in cube mode because I was in point mode. Now because I only placed one square and I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to Control Z, and that's going to get rid of that one square. And now I can drag out as far as I need to, and you can actually zoom with the mouse wheel. Get our character out of the way here, and we're going to go out to 40 by 40. And if you move your mouse up and down after releasing your left click, you can actually increase the thickness of what you're laying down, but we only want it to be one thick. I've already dug out this square, or this triangle I should say, and it is the size that I want it to be, and no grass is going to grow there now that I've dug it out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another set of, and if you, as you're holding in left click, if you hold in right click, you can move your mouse, or your camera I should say, and that is 40 by 40 by 1, and again 1 thick, and there we go. So we've got this foundation, and it is overhanging the cliff by quite a bit, but that's fine. We don't mind that, or at least I don't, because I want it to look like this. And we don't have to worry about structural integrity or gravity affecting our buildings. We could actually build this all the way out over across the water if we wanted to, if we had enough blocks to do that. And we're not gonna go that crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and build this one out to 20. And the maximum size that you can build to is a 40 by 40. and I'm doing half of that here, but both of these, oh, I think I made that too thick. So let's undo that. We only want it to be 1 thick. So remember, Control Z gets rid of all of your mistakes. So let's grab it in the corner there. Swivel out. There's my 20 by 40. And make sure that's 20 by 40 by 1 and click. And then we'll do the same thing here. Just got to make sure that we get in that corner just right. And again, drag it out. Now, if I move my character too close to this grid that's being put out, it turns purple. That means it's obstructed, and you can see the yellow text there. It says there's something in the way, cannot build. You just got to move your character out of the way so that they're not holding up your construction. All right. So again, 20 by 40 by 1. Oh, I released a little too soon. Try that again. And there we go. We've got this giant foundation, and it's more than enough to build on. And yes, it sticks out over the cliff, but that's fine. This is going to be one of those modern posh homes. So if you want to, say, make it look a little bit more realistic, you can come down here, and you got to kind of find where that corner is up there. But go back into build mode, because apparently it kicked me out. And we are going to go ahead and use the rounded corner here. And we're going to leave it on stone. And we're going to build a pillar underneath that. Is this the one I want? Let me see. Nope, that one's on its side. I think I want, where is it? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah. All right. So looking at this, we want this to be near the corner, and that's the direction that we want it to be. But we want it to be, so we could put it right there on the corner, but we want to go in one in both directions, and just click once and bring that down to the ground, and then go ahead and click. And what that did was it put a rounded corner there. Now we want to turn it again, and on this side we're going to go ahead and do that same thing, but we're going to do it beside this pillar this time. So click, make sure it's a 1 by 1, bring it all the way down, and click again, and it's starting to look good, All right, hit T again to turn it one more face, and look up there, get it lined up, bring it down to the ground, click again, and one more turn. We're going to put it right up there in the corner, bring it all the way down, and click again. And now we have our support beam. So pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's get back up top here. We'll just close the build menu for a second. So we've filled in voxels, we've built a rather large platform, and we've created sort of a fake support beam underneath the outer corner there. So now we want to throw in some walls. Now, before we get started with the walls, we're going to go ahead and open our inventory, and we're going to take a look at a large door, because I like large doors. So I actually want to build a room that's going to utilize a large door. So go back into build mode, and we'll reselect the single square, and we're going to measure this. Now, based on where we put it, see there's a little bit indentation there and a little bit sticking out there, so we didn't really center the door, but it is essentially 6 blocks wide, and it is, if you can see that, 8 blocks tall. So we'll go ahead and grab that door back off of there. So we've measured it 6 by 8. So if we want to use that door, we got to make sure that we have a door opening that is 6 by 8. We're going to start in this corner, and we're going to build our room out, and we're going to go out to 40, one block thick, and 8 is our minimum for the door, but we want a little bit of room above the door, so we're going to go up to 10, and left click again, and that places that wall. Now remember, this side is only 60 wide, so we want this to be 30, but since we already have 1 block here, we'll go out to 29. So we'll take this all the way out to 29, and we'll take it up to our 10, and there's another wall for us. Now, if we want to place doors in the center of this wall and in the center of this wall, then what we have to do is remember that this way is 40, and our door is 6 wide, so we need a total of 34. There's already 1 here, so we're only going to come out 16. And then we're going to take it up to 10, and you can right click or hold in your right mouse button to rotate the camera so that you can get a better angle on everything. All right, and then from here, let's get a slightly better angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that'll be our door. So we're going to go from here, we're going to go out 17, and then we're going to go up to 10, and there's the rest of that wall. Now remember, we have, it's a little bit, our wall is a little bit taller than what we need for the door, so we can put a 2 block gap, or a 2 block solid wall portion above the doorway. Now this way is only 30, and since we need 6 for the door, that leaves us with 24. We've already got the blocks on the end, so we're going to come out 11, and we're going to take that up to 10, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side, out to 11, single, up to 10, and then we're going to do that same 2 block piece above the doorway, and now we'll be able to set a door in there. And we have our room basically completed with the exception of the ceiling. Now let's say that we wanted to have a stairway here in the corner, and then our 2 doors, and we want to make sure that there's enough room for the stairway, because we want to put a second floor on here. Now your stairway is going to be 4 wide, so we go out to here. Actually, we'll do that from the corner because it'll be a little bit easier. 1, 2, 3, 4 will give us what we need for our stairway, and then we'll take this all the way back to the corner, and we'll plop that in, and now we have a ceiling on most of our room here. And since we're going to start the stairs here, and we should from here be able to go take the stairs up and actually end up there, we can, at this point, add in the rest of this ceiling from this corner. So it's going to be 4 across, and we're going to bring it all the way back to the doorway. And we'll go ahead and put that in. Now we just need to know how far our stairs are going to stick up, because we will have a little bit of floor over here, but it's not going to be a lot. I can estimate how much it's going to be. So we'll say 4 by 5. And hopefully that's good. If it's not, we can Control Z to undo it, or we can just select it and remove it. And you do that, you simply grab the select, and you can basically, you can grab as many blocks as you need to with left click, and then when you release left click, it goes in the up, down, or Y axis, and then you left click again and all those are selected, and you can just hit the delete key on your keyboard, or you can click on this little trash can down here, and then we can Control Z to undo that, because we don't actually want to remove that at this point. So we'll go back to, we'll get out of build mode and we'll go into our inventory. And we're going to use iron stairs because I like the way that iron stairs look in a stone sort of setting. So we're going to drag that over, and we want to line it up right with that doorway. We want to make sure that it's not blocking the doorway. We also want to make sure that it is about as close as we can get to that doorway. And that's good enough. It's not perfect. It's pretty well lined up, but it's not perfect. But you know what? It is close enough. Now, once you place an item such as stairs or ladders, because we do have ladders in here, when you go to place your next one, assuming that you're making something like a stairwell or a stairway, it will snap. And if you need to rotate it, it works just like pretty much everything else. The T key on your keyboard will rotate it. And we'll go ahead and place all of these stairs in here and see if we can't. It's not gonna. It's not. It doesn't like what I'm doing here. So we'll put that back in there for just a second, and we'll actually go up the stairs a little ways so we can hit the top of that. And there we go. And one more. And there we have it. And I was right. It gets us up onto the roof. So we can close that for now. And here we have our first room. Got a set of stairs going up to the second floor. We'll eventually have a second floor. And we have 2 doorways. Now we can place the doors in those doorways. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. You want to get at the door at an angle. Shine a little light over there, and we'll go ahead and grab the large door. And we could put a large gate. I think that's about the same size. Yeah, and it's not really going to matter whether you use a large door or a large gate. I'll go ahead and place that, and it looks like we have a slight gap on this side. But there's our door. Now we can grab it, and we can try placing it again. I'll go ahead and put the large door there this time. Now, as you're lining it up, you'll see that there's a yellow box showing you, how much room it's taking up. I still have that little gap over there. I don't know if I can get that quite perfect. Let's give it one more go. And let's try that. Okay, no gap on either side, so that was good. So when we open the door, it opens in. If we want it to open out, we can just turn twice, and now it opens out. I guess it doesn't matter which way you do it, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it so that it actually opens in. I want it to open into the room. It'll be like one of those giant fancy rich guy offices or whatever. So we built one room, and we have all this room over here we're like, you know what? That took me a little bit more time than I thought it would. I just want to plop down some more rooms, you know. I want to get moving on this project, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back into build mode. All right. And we're going to use the select tool, and watch this. So we get nice and close to this corner, and then we stretch this thing out. Now you see that the selection is basically grabbing the entire bottom row of bricks around the building. Now I'm still holding in left mouse button. I'm going to release left mouse button, and I'm going to make sure that that selection goes around everything. And then I'm going to click. Now the whole thing is selected. Now we're going to go down here, we're going to hit save. And we're going to, let me see if I can get a slightly better picture of this thing. So we'll go up to this corner here. And that gives us a really nice view of what our little module looks like. So we're going to call this one Module 1, stairs and doors. And we'll save it. Now we just saved this entire room. Now what doesn't save is the door and the stairs. As you saw in the picture, it just has openings there. But now what we can do is we can go to our ISO and we can grab this Module 1 stairs and we can export it. And look at that. We've got, oh, because I fell down, of course. So now we've got this room that we can just place wherever on our structure here. Now remember that the door is actually on the opposite side, or is on the same side as the one that I just saved, and we want those doors to be matched up together. So we're going to hit T twice, and those are now matched up. But we want to make sure that our wall remains one thick to maintain everything. So we're going to bring that in just one, and we're going to click. And now we have 2 rooms. Let's see. What if we want another room? And again, we have that doorway over there. So we're going to go ahead and pop this in 1. If we could tell that it's in 1, if we look in the lower right hand corner, that's in 1 and it's lined up. So we click again. Now we have a 3rd room. Now we want a 4th room, and of course we don't have a doorway here. We just have a doorway here, but we can go out into the dirt here real quick. And we want that doorway to line up. And again, we want to make sure that we are in 1. And click. And we've just placed 4 rooms, just like that. And we can go ahead and right-click out of that for a second. Now we have this doorway, but we don't have a doorway into this room over here. But we're going to make one. It got covered up when we placed this room, which is fine. What it does is if you place 2 rooms inside of each other, anywhere that there is a block, whether you have the blocks cut out in one room and not in the other, they're still going to cover up the holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So here we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we go up until we are 1 below the ceiling, and then we go ahead and hit the delete key, and now we've got a doorway into this second room. And we still have our stairway holes in the ceiling, and we can still get into this room via the door, and we still have the stairs in this room because this was our prototype. This is the one we saved, and we didn't move it. We didn't delete it and replace it. So we want to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'm going to have to redo that because I had to change the angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So starting here, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we take it up to 1 below the ceiling and hit delete. And now we have another doorway into each of our rooms. Now let's say that, we've got this door here, right? And we don't want it to be isolated in stone. We want a wooden door frame around it, for whatever reason. So we can go ahead and select wood, right? And then because it automatically puts us back on shape and block, what you want to do is you want to hold in Alt, and that sinks it into the wall, right? And then we can go up to the top here, and then you want to release Alt so that it's now all blue, and click, and you suddenly have wood there. And you want to do the same thing here, right? Now if you release your left mouse button before you release Alt, actually it doesn't, okay, so you can release your left mouse button before, oops. Now if you release your left mouse button here and click, then you have your wooden doorway. So there you go. Oh, we've got a little bit extra on this side, so we can take care of that real quick. We'll just go into select mode. We'll select that and hit delete, and there we go. Beautiful. So that pretty much covers building with the build menu and saving sections, modules. You can save an entire building if you want to. That's entirely up to you, and it's easy enough to do. You can place stairs and doors and whatnot where you want them to be, and you can very rapidly, if you wanted to just build out a couple of rooms of different sizes, say you wanted a few 10 by 20 rooms or 20 by 30 rooms, you can make them all out of dirt if you want to, and then once you've placed them down, you can select them all and convert them into the other material that you want to use, whether that be stone, iron, steel, diamond, glass, whatever you want to use. You have that option. Now, one more thing I wanted to go over real quick with you. So you have the voxel view if you want to replace voxels in the ground, and you have your block view, and you have 15 materials to choose from. And you also have all these different shapes. Now, I showed you the circular shape for the support down there. And if you grab this little scroll bar here, you can actually place a 4x4 block at a time, a 4x4 ramp at a time, a 4x4 corner at a time, a corner, and you can rotate these with the T key. There's another 4x4 corner, and that one is a shallow corner. And then you have your bottom shallow corner, and your top deep corner, and your top wedge. But those are 4x4, and then you can also do 2x2, and you can always stick with the 1x1, because you can, if you're in cube mode and block mode, you can just click and drag as big as you want it to be. I mean, you can make these any size you want, and then once you release the left mouse button, you can go in the Y-axis and make them as tall as you want to. And if you do anything accidentally while you're trying to build your building, just right click and it gets rid of your entire selection. So it's really easy to do. And as I showed you, you can convert pieces of the material that you chose. You can very rapidly build up from here. You can fill in the terrain if you dig holes that are just terrible, like I did. And you know, there's a gap here. There's a gap between my building and the dirt, and I don't want to try and fill that in, because if I do, then the dirt will actually bleed through the blocks, which is a terrible thing. And when you build your rooms, you will of course want them to be lit, and you just want to choose. I mean, if I take my light off of here, let me see. This room is pretty dark. I mean, it's still daylight, so, and we still have that hole in the ceiling. But we can grab a light. I'm actually kind of particular to the cream-colored light box, but let's go with a long light normal. And what you want to do here is hit T to rotate it, and that's on that face, so we can go ahead and set that, and we can grab another one and we can put that on the other side here. And this is basically freeform. There's no snapping. You just basically place it where you want to place it. And now we have some light in here. It's not a lot of light, but it is some light. You know, if we happen to have another room above this one and it's completely filled in, we'll at least be able to see in this room with this little bit of light. And it works fine. It's good. So if you have any questions at all about building, or if you think that I missed something, or there's something more that you want me to explore with these tutorial video series that I'm doing for Planet Explorers, feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know, you know, hey, can you cover this, or hey, you forgot about this, or, you know, whatever. And I'd be more than happy to throw together a couple more tutorials on this or that. I know that I've had requests for armor, weapons, tools, and basic objects Like you can make couches and chairs and stuff like that. You can even make your own custom lights. So I will cover some of that stuff in the future. But I wanted to go over the build mode and show you guys how to rapidly put together whatever kind of base you want to do. And that pretty much covers building. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I've taught at least some of you something about building. And we'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, peace.